What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sacred Cards. Today I'm coming at you with an update to my Dinosaur deck profile for February 2024. As most of you know by now, I love dinos. They are very near and dear to my heart. I've been working with the deck pretty much every day over the last few weeks, especially since the release of Maze of Millennia. It really changed the way we play the deck and lets us go for much more of a pure variant while giving us access to field spell searches, polymerization, and Hornsaurus, which gives you an extra normal summon and is a level 6, which synergizes really well with this deck. I've been trying to fine tune this build, and I think I've got a really good, tightly packed 40 card list to share with you. I've been trying to make it as competitive as possible for you while maintaining consistency. There is no scrap package, so you can move on with the video. Don't worry, I'm not going to ruin it for you. So, with all that said, I'll go through my deck list and try and explain the cards as best I can. Let's get right on into it here. Kicking things off with 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. You already know, still the deck's #1 starter in my opinion. If this card is normal or special summon, you can take a dino from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can also target a level 4 lower dino on the field, destroy it, then special summon a dino from the grave in defense position. Next, I play 1 copy of Miscellaneousaurus. Misc is incredible. I wish it was at 2 or 3, but nonetheless, it has the effect that during the main phase, quick effect, send this card from your hand to the graveyard to make your dino monsters unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent. Then you can banish any number of dinos from your graveyard and special summon a dino monster from the deck with a level equal to the number you banished. Now for the new support, I'm choosing to play 1 copy of Kaitoptera. I've tested with 1, 2, and 3 copies, but I think 1 is all you really need, but you can definitely play 2 copies if you like. I love this card and what it can do for the deck. During your main phase, you can add a copy of Polymerization from your deck to your hand, which gives you easy access to either Gigantozauer or Hornsaurus. I'll get to that more in the extra deck, but similar to Giant Rex, if this card is banished, you can special summon it, then return Poly from your graveyard back to your hand, plus having the ability that it can't be targeted for attacks if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters that aren't wind. Really happy with this card, and I think it opens up so many new possibilities for the deck. Getting into the Baby Dino package, starting off with 2 copies of Animadorn Archosaur. This is another starter. If this card is normal or special summon, you can destroy a dino in your hand or on the field and then add an Evolution Pill spell from your deck to your hand. I've been on 1 copy before, but it's just too good. This card plus another baby is full combo. I play 3 copies of Baby Cerosaurus. If this card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon a level 4 or lower dino from the deck. Absolutely mandatory, one of the most important cards in the build. Next is 2 copies of Petit Pteranodon. Petrie has the ability that if this card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon a level 4 or higher dino from your deck, but it can't attack this turn. I'm really happy with the 2, 3, and 2 ratio. Now for the big dinos, babies do grow up. 2 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. One of the best boss monsters of all time, definitely one of my favorites. This monster must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 dinos in your graveyard during either player's main phase. Quick effect, destroy a monster in your hand or field to change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and at the start of the damage step, if it attacks a monster in defense position, inflict 1000 damage, then send that monster to the graveyard. Next, I play 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. I think 1 copy is fine for this going first variant, but I would definitely side a 2nd copy with Pank. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from the hand, and it has a quick effect that you contribute itself to target a card on the field, destroy it. You can also special summon it off your copy of Petit Pteranodon, so that is a really nice option to have as well. Next, for the ground Xeno package, I play 1 copy of Xenometeorus and 1 copy of Frostosaurus. This level 6 tuner has the effect that if a card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the main phase, you can destroy a dino in your hand or on the field to special summon a dino normal monster from your deck. Frostosaurus is great for this list because it's a level 6, which makes for great synergy, being able to go into rank 6 plays, and is a free resource, so makes sense to play. Depending on what you want to go for, you could play the Fire level 6 or level 4 Megalo Smasher or Saber if you were playing the True King variant. Next up, for the non-dinos, I'm playing a few hand traps in 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Just a great all-around hand trap that can disrupt your opponent, stopping searches or draw cards by your opponent. 2 copies of Ghost Bell. Personally, I've always been a fan of this card. It's so good at stopping graveyard effects, and there's so many decks that rely on graveyard utility that it's really good for the format post-Phantom Nightmare. And the last hand trap I run is 1 copy of Effect Veiler. I'm pretty adamant on playing 6 slots for hand traps and non-dino targets. This is another way of negating monster effects. These are just good generic hand traps for interrupting your opponent, and the lineup I've enjoyed playing for right now. These cards can all be swapped out for whatever you like. Play what you want to play in your deck that makes you happy. That is it for the monsters. Now moving on to the spells. For consistency and draw power, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card is just so good at letting you see your combo pieces, any missing piece you might want, or simply digging for disruption cards. Now for your main searcher, I play 3 copies of Fossil Dig. This card lets you add any level 6 or lower dino monster from your deck to your hand. It's another copy of pretty much any dino card we play, whether it be Misk, Oviraptor, Kaitoptera, or any other combo piece you might want access to. Next up is 3 copies of Ground Xeno. I absolutely love this card and what it does for the deck. It lets you add 1 Dino Tuner or Dino Normal monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy a card in your hand. It also lets you banish this card from the graveyard to fusion summon a Dino from the extra deck. I'm still playing 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. You could argue to cut this card down to 1, but I just don't have it in me right now. It's always been a perfect ratio for me, and it's always been a go-to way to see your copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. With Pill, you can banish 1 Dino and 1 non-Dino monster from your hand and or graveyard, special summon a level 7 or higher Dino monster from your deck regardless of its summon conditions. 2 copies is perfect in my opinion, no more, no less. And the last Dino card I play in the main deck is a single copy of Lost World, and the other field spell I'm playing is 1 copy of Ecole de Zone. I'm not playing Diagram or Secret Village, although I heavily considered them both. Honestly, I think Diagram and Litho can be bricky at times. Now, with that said, I do have a build that incorporates Diagram and Litho and another copy of Kaitoptera, so let me know in the comments if that's something you would like to see. And Secret Village of the Spellcasters is a great strategy, but it just isn't Dinos for me, although I do think it's a great side deck option. I love Lost World, and I think being able to search it with your copy of Hornsaurus is great because now I feel you only need to play 1 copy, and it really helps you combo and get your plays going. Ecole de Zone is a great tech card for this deck because the turn player summons a monster. If the turn player summons a monster, you can destroy it, which is fine for us, and the controller of that monster gets a mask token. Really happy with both these cards, and they are both searchable with your copies of Kaitoptera. So Lost World gives your opponent a Jureg token, and Ecole de Zone gives your opponent a mask token. Next is 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. It's another great card for the deck. I would definitely play Thrust if I had access to it, but unfortunately I do not. So my budget alternative, it's been fine playing 2 Talent, being able to draw 2 cards, rip an opponent's card from their hand, or steal a monster are all great effects for the deck. And the last 2 cards I play in the main deck is 1 copy of Polymerization and 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Poly is now searchable and revivable with our copies of Kaitoptera, makes going into your fusion plays that much easier, getting you access to Hornsaurus, which is such a good card and has become one of our starters. And finally, Called by the Grave is just an all-around great card to have access to, ensuring that our plays go off. Very important for the deck. Well, that is it for the main deck. Now on to the extra deck. I'm really happy with the extra deck, although I did make a few slight changes. Starting off with the fusion monsters, I have 1 copy of Hornsaurus and 1 copy of Transcendosaurus, Gigantozauler. Hornsaurus, brand new addition to the deck that has the ability that if it's fusion summoned, you can place a field spell from your deck or graveyard to your field. The other effect is that you gain an extra normal summon, plus the turn it is special summoned, you can attack your opponent directly and blast them for 2,000 life points. When Zowler is special summoned, you can target 1 dino in the graveyard, add it back to your hand. Then if this card was special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy 2 cards, 1 from your hand or field and 1 card your opponent controls. If this card is destroyed, shuffle back a normal monster in the graveyard into the deck, then special summon this card. Very powerful, absolutely love it. Now, starting off with my Xyz monsters, I play a few rank 6s in 1 copy of Avulzar Lars and 1 copy of Avulzar Solda. Lars has the ability that while it has material, your opponent can't target it with card effects. When your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can detach a material to target a card on the field, negate its effects for the turn. Solda also can't be destroyed by card effects while it has material, and has the ability that when your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, detach a material and destroy them. Next up, I play a few rank 4s. The main 2 being 1 copy of Avulzar Logia and 1 copy of Avulzar Dolka. Logia, when a monster would be normal or special summoned or spell trap is activated, its quick effect, detach 2 materials to negate it. Dolka, when another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you can detach a material to negate and destroy that monster. This effect is also not once per turn, which is very nice. And the other Xyz I play is 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. It's just too good not to play. Being able to shut down your opponent's graveyard can hurt so many decks, and this deck is really good at making rank 4s, so it just makes sense to squeeze in a copy, in my opinion. Next, I play 2 Synchro monsters and 1 copy of Baron de Fleur and 1 copy of Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Chaining. Baron can target a card on the field, destroy it. It can also quick effect negate the activation of a card effect and destroy it. Plus, during the standby phase, if you want, you can target a level 9 or lower monster in the graveyard, return this card to the extra deck, then special summon that card. Changing gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card, while your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack and defense for each banished card. If this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish a card instead, and if a card is banished, you can banish 1 card from their field and send it to the graveyard. Or, sorry, 1 card from their field and graveyard. Starting off the Link monsters, I play 1 copy of Linkuriboh and 1 copy of Secure Gardena. This has become pretty standard in the Dino build, especially for your Archosaur combo. Linkuriboh contribute itself when a monster clears an attack, make its attack 0, and if it's in the graveyard, you contribute a level 1 to special summon this card. Secure Gardena can be link summoned using your copy of Linkuriboh to get a non-dino target in the graveyard for double evolution pill. Also, you take no battle or effect damage for the turn. Next, I play a single copy of SP Little Knight, an absolute meta staple right now. It's so easy to make, an extremely powerful card to have access to. I was fortunate enough to pull it from a box of Age of Overlord. I know it's expensive, so if you don't have access to it, play pretty much anything else you like. It really doesn't matter too much. I do also play 1 copy of the Dark Charmer. It's easy to make in this deck, so it does make sense to play. This card does facilitate the Secret Village of the Spellcasters option, which is why I would keep a copy in this side, or if you really want to main it for this build, I would just cut the copy of a Cold Zone. Either way, it's a good card to have access to. And finally, the last two monsters I play in the extra deck is one copy of Appaloosa and one copy of Pentastag. Appaloosa is another great card to have access to, as it gains 800 attack for each material used for its Link summon, and once per turn you can have it lose 800 attack to negate monster effects on your opponent's side of the field. Pentastag has the ability that if your linked monster attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict piercing battle damage. Really good if you get this card pointed to your copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to inflict some big damage to your opponent's face down monsters. It can win you so many games, I can't see myself taking it out for right now. Well, that is it for the deck profile. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If there's anything you don't like, please leave me a comment telling me what you think. And if you want to see the True King variant, please let me know. Be sure to like the video if you did, and subscribe for more content. Thank you for your support, and always enjoy the Sacred Cards. See you all in the next one.